Well, hello and welcome everybody to today's live video broadcast. And you're in for another treat on Beyond the Ordinary show. I feel like we're Halloween over here, lots of treats and no tricks. Um, but it's wonderful the capacity of wayshowers that we have coming into the Beyond the Ordinary community, and it's really extraordinary. It is beyond the ordinary and it's extraordinary. Because what's shared is from the heart. What's shared is with this impetus to want to provide not only awareness, but a vibrational attunement of what's possible. So a lot of times it's like we can't see what we're not accessing because we don't know what we have the ability to access is available to us. And when someone shows the doorway, it's like new worlds open up. And I think Tracy Clark does this so beautifully, not only in her knowing and in her knowledge of what she is teaching, but in how she applies it into the embodiment of her life. And she expresses it as a being of who she is authentically and provides that wisdom through that embodiment with the world. And so many people have shifted their lives working with her. And I'm excited to have her back for another season on Beyond the Ordinary show because there's so much to share at this time. So this is going to be a phenomenal call. I hope you guys can sit back, relax, and really receive. And we'll also open up to Q&A. So as we have conversation, as we open up this wisdom, these transmissions, as you have a personal question come in or a question that you'd like to share, type it into the Q&A box, type it into the chat box. If you click on your panelist section at the bottom of your screen, click to raise your hand there and you can ask your question live. And if you do ask your question live, I'm going to ask you to be on video. So do whatever you need to do to prepare for that. But we'd love to be on the couch with you in that way as well. So again, this is going to be a phenomenal call. And Tracy's going to be talking today about learning how to communicate to your body, change your DNA, and regenerate your life. And again, Tracy's been doing this with her clients 4 years and so successful at it. And when she comes on and she starts speaking, you will feel her vitality. And this is the invitation for you. And vitality is a big one for me lately. That word keeps coming up over and over and over again. So let me tell you a little bit more about Tracy and we'll say an official hi and bring her in. So Tracy has dedicated her life to the TLC community of extraordinary living and body regeneration method to help change as many lives as possible. When Tracy discovered how to talk to the body, how to command it to move, and how powerful the language is with certain subtle movements, she launched the secrets to the world. She has taught hundreds and hundreds of students how to harness their own gifts using simple and easy tools. And with that, Tracy, welcome back to Beyond the Ordinary.
I am so excited to be here. We had so much fun last time, and what I love so much about what you're doing and coming here, you said it so well. We're in this time of such great transition and change. And there's nothing I love more than when someone says, guess what just happened? You know, you hear those and in a time right now, you do hear a lot of that. It's like, my health is better, or my marriage is better. I think beautiful miracles are happening during this time. And when we really harness what's going on inside us, and like you said, I've been living this way for 17 years. And I know you've had a long journey, and we know that when you live like this, life becomes miraculous. Like it really does. And I know that word's thrown out there all the time, but when you get out of bed and you're like excited, no matter what's going on out there, and that, it always sometimes makes me cry. So I don't want to cry, but that's what makes me excited when I hear people say, I finally want to get out of bed today, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter, I can shut it off. I'm in control of my space, my direction. And it's their connection and how they're making those choices every day to be better and better and enjoy what's here. And it's really exciting. So thank you. I'm really happy to be here again. We always have so much fun.
And it's really, and I want to get into this. It's like you brought up, and again, this wave of awareness is coming through me. A lot of people that listen to the show, that follow the community, and probably even in your community also, there's a lot of the question that comes up sometimes, like, I can't find my passion, I can't find my purpose. But with the work that you do, little do we know, sometimes it's because our body isn't in alignment with that. Sometimes it's like everything else seems to be motivating us. We have this spiritual connection. We sense this pull
Yeah.
of wanting to serve and be served, if you will, as well. But
Yeah.
the body doesn't necessarily communicate that awareness or the ability to be in that passion or in that energy.
Well, what I find a lot is, and I fell into this trap a little bit too when I first started, is I was like, okay, the spiritual space or we're exploring these different avenues and you're kind of looking around and that's one quadrant. And I realized there are many, many quadrants, but to just kind of make it basic, we have a physical body, a mental, an emotional, a spiritual, a psychological, a psychic, like just to name six, we could name hundreds of more. But for people to understand. And what do we do? If it's a physical issue, we're just always focusing on the physical. So a lot of people will say, oh, I got to run to the doctor, and that might be their only way. But you're missing all these other components. Or we're on a spiritual journey. That might be how you and I look at it. Some people, their spiritual journey is just going to church, like some just going to meditate on a hill or going to, go to ashram or something, but they're forgetting all the other bodies. And because they all are encompassing, when you put them together, they can work together quickly. And I like to say, if if you've heard of functional fitness, functional fitness, yeah, you got to stretch to get that coffee cup that you put way up high. I say it's like functional energy work. It's because I learned from working with a lot of my CEOs and stuff. They're like, Tracy, I don't have time to just go and meditate. Oh, wait a minute, I'll be right back after that board meeting. Or the mother that's like running their kids around all day and they go, I just need a break, but they got to take, Johnny to this place and Susie to this place. What can I do while I'm on the fly? So by really allowing people to get in touch with their body while they have other things going on in their life, which they do right now, and they still do their meditations and stuff like that. But by allowing them to connect, your purpose, your passion, it just shows up, because then the body's frequency is putting that out. And next thing you know, people will say to me, I was just like, I went out for coffee and this person walked up to me and they gave me an opportunity, and oh my God, I'm so happy, because their frequencies, their vibrations on every level were so strong, and they were putting out there, right? So that's what it is now. And we're so busy in society that a lot of times we do say, and you probably hear this too, it's like, I can't find 10 minutes. If you can't find 10 minutes a day to make your connection and you a priority, you got some work to do, which is okay. We all started there, right? But this is that place where then it becomes joyous, and it's like play every day, and you're playing and you're learning. And I find now a lot of people are saying that, oh, I learned something else new about myself today. Or I learned I don't have to hold on to that pattern or behavior for so long. And they're looking at all of these bodies now and not just one or the other. And then they flow, and then it does become effortless, because we don't need to sit there for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day, right? We want to live. You want to live and share your journey with the world. So yeah, and I think now too, as our frequencies are getting a lot higher, what I see and what I feel is people's purpose and passion, if it's lost, is because it's buried under too many emotions. It's buried under too many ideals of what they think it is, rather than just being. Just being. I say your purpose is to be. Just be. Get up and be the beautiful being you are, which I love.
Yeah.
So what I hear people.
Allow yourself to be inspired rather than to look for the inspiration.
Yeah. If you're looking, you could feel like you're looking for a long time, but when you show up in your life and you just be, it's a whole different place. It's a whole different way of connecting. And right now, I think that when I've looked back at the last 6 months, I guess, really 6 months, if we go back to January, because that's when a lot of things started to shift, and you really look at the energy, we've been gifted this beautiful space to be, and to say, what really do I want to get rid of, and what really do I want to? And your body is always telling you. Your body has so many secrets, and it's like, start listening and watch what magic you can create.
Well, Tracy, when we go there, it's like we listen to the body. How is it that you teach your clients to speak to their body so the body will actually listen and be in a cohesive relationship?
Yeah, and move. A lot of times people will hear me say, like, I command this to go. Like, so everything I look at is like a spirit. And the reason I say it's a spirit of something, because it's easy then for people to sort of pick up. So I would say the spirit of, you can put anything you want behind it. When you actually start your heart drive, I call it your heart drive, not your hard drive, your heart drive, just like your computer has a hard drive, your body has a hard drive. That's why we have that beautiful energy, right? And the hard drive is, everybody says, get in your heart to manifest, get in your heart to manifest. And a lot of people are like, well, what is that? Because we're always trained from little kids, right? Well, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? We're very much in the head. And then when we learn to get into the heart, we also forget that that hard drive is where so much beautiful information is. So ideally, I say to people, you want to get to the hard drive first. That's the first place you want to really work from, because then that will start to go out and tell you where other things in the body. So when you start commanding, so I'll command the spirit of something to leave. So if it's first, that's usually where I go to. And I always say, thank you, God. You can say universe or divine. It's whatever the God of your understanding is, right? And I say to people, it's the God of your understanding. And that's okay. Don't ever let anyone tell you it should be anything different. It's whatever works for you. But when I say thank you to the power of the hand of God to remove, and I teach them how to say, like, remove that accumulation of energy, wherever that root or seed of that energy came up. Then what you start to notice is you can notice heaviness in the body. You can notice pain. And if you just tune in for a second and you're like, where am I feeling that? And you may not even know where that's coming from. The best thing I say to people, command to bring up all the known and unknown energy, no matter where it is, known or unknown, because then you're really, the body starts to listen. It's like when you walk around and say, I have arthritis. Okay, every day, I have arthritis. I have arthritis. And I teach people different words. And I said, because if you are saying every day, I have arthritis, my arthritis isn't going away, I have arthritis. Your body actually starts to hear that as, oh, they have arthritis. Okay, well, you keep saying you have arthritis. So you're trying to then go through where the systems, why did that come on? Because when a physical issue actually comes up to the body, you know all the other quadrants have been ignored. Nobody's paying attention. You've ignored them. So the body's like, hello, now you're not going to ignore me. But the problem that comes up is the physical body, 99% of the time where the issue is, it's not where it's showing up. That's just saying, I would like you to pay attention to me. So when you start to actually learn to command and speak to the body, the energy will start to move. And when you're talking to yourself, you're talking to the body and you're commanding whatever your spirit teams, your guides, however people like to do it, there's no right or wrong. You will notice that the body starts to lift off. And I'll give you an example. I have a gentleman who 3.5 years ago had a triple bypass. He's had nonstop pain, crazy. So I started seeing him about 6 weeks ago. We've had 3 appointments because I took a little bit of a break, so I got a tan. I had to go in the sun. We got to play, guys. You got to play. So we had 3 times. And what I noticed was right away, I said to him, you're constantly anchoring in the imprinting that you can't do anything, you can't exercise because you have heart pain, heart ache, which was linked to all these emotional things. We pulled it out. He actually told me 2 days ago, he's running 10 kilometers a day now with no pain. But the body, he started talking to it differently too, which he was saying, I don't need. So after we cleared up through the energy and I taught him some things to say, he's like, I'm not labeling that anymore. And one of the biggest things that gets stuck in our body is the amount of labels we put on ourselves. And those labels, like I'm spiritual or I'm religious or I'm this tall, and they go into identity, all these things get stuck in your body as well. So when we start to have that awareness, we can actually shift it out of the body a lot quicker.
Let me give you an example for personal reasons and
Sure.
for the audience as well. So I believe I contracted COVID when I was in Los Angeles a few months ago.
Yeah.
And when it came through, it was very mild, but I could feel a rush of cortisol running through me, and then the adrenal health really suffered with it, and all the effects of that cortisol and the adrenal health
Mm-hmm.
definitely impacted my body, and I felt it. How
Yeah.
do we how do we deal with the awareness that that's running through us, but still not give it the voice that the body's also expressing?
Yeah, that one. So that would be where, and I think I got it too in February, actually. So, because I actually, for me, if people know me, if I pick up a cold or something, then literally it's gone within 24 hours. I can kick it out. I command it to go. Then
Okay.
this, and it was like, you're not leaving. What? Like I could function, but it wasn't leaving. And then so the trickle. So I hear you. So what I actually started to do was when you feel that, I start, because I was like, I've got whatever this is. I was trying not to label it like whatever this is. So I started to command the accumulation of that COVID, we'll call it that because that's what people have, to leave my body. I do a reset tool, the tap, reset, let go, like thank you, God, reset, let go. Because when you hit the heart like that, what happens right away is it actually, and I have a client in the States where her doctor was looking at what she's doing and they monitored it and they're like, wow, the toxins in your body emotionally and physically are leaving very fast when you do that. So that releases the toxins. Then what I started to do is I commanded the adrenals to reset and then command the lymphatic system to drain. When you command something into the body, and then I would override and speak in a higher level of immunity, and I move my hand up. So with simple hand motion, people say, why does my hand move a lot? Because that's how I see, feel, and hear, to pull out the energy, but to restore, repair, and regenerate. There's certain words your body will pick up on. So if we go into the adrenals and the kidneys and start commanding them to repair, restore, and regenerate, they will start to come up. And even if people, I say, if you're even sitting a few minutes and visualizing, you can pull them up. It's like that also too, when people push their hands like this, right? It opens all that energy flow. I always say to them, if you're going to do that, open your hands, which is an old teaching anywhere, open the hands, but it'll start to command. And when you command it through, you're commanding to remove the accumulation of the known and unknown energy, which is usually hidden energy, which also takes the pressure off the body because you don't have to think about where was it? How did I get it? Why did it come into my body? And then increasing the immune system. When you command the body to increase, it listens. The reason is that for most people, they don't take the time. Like you can walk down the street and say, I need to command my adrenals to increase and command my immune system. Now, when we also contract that into our system, something like that, there is also a deep, deep, deep cleaning that's happening to allow the energy fields to come to another level. What I noticed when it lifted, and you can see we can raise yours actually another level, because you're like got the last tail end there that we can pull out that people don't realize sits in the internal and external field, is that you can start to see that there was a deep, deep, deep soul spirit cleansing that's coming with this thing that people are getting, right? And so that part we actually can just raise, release, let go. And then I always say, thank you, God, I override this is why I do that with my hand. Because when you do that, you're speaking it into the body. And when you speak it into the body, spirit takes over. As you know, it's all spirit that comes through. And the spirit's like, people forget your spirit teams or how you want to connect. They kind of sit there and have a coffee until you tell them what to do. But when you tell them, and then you start to see these incredible things where the body's responding and the body's like, oh, and then the beauty after that is I always say to people, watch your dreams, watch the thoughts that come up. Because when I start to shift this, what usually will happen is you'll start to notice, and you may have noticed this a lot lately, the old thought patterns where you're like, I haven't thought about that kid from when I was 5 years old ever, or I haven't thought about that place. It just comes in because when the hard drive clears, also as we're as a collective clearing up all that old stuff we don't need, the hard drive also starts to pour out anything that's a block or a resistance. So it actually works. It's great. But when you start to understand, so you don't have to know like all the organs. People say to me, do you have to know all the organs? And I'm like, no, you have to know how to be forceful and just command. And then I teach those different words that you can use. And restore, repair, regenerate are very, very strong words where the body will just pick it up and go, okay. And you're not going to do it like in the grocery store. Well, you can in your head, I guess, you're clearing the way. But when I teach and I'm teaching people what to say with their words and clean, definitely, can you do that while you're walking down the street? And the reset, let go button also relieves anxiety a lot right now. A lot of people tell me their anxiety goes right down, which allows things to be more even keel when you're out and about.
And I love that you say that, because anxiety is a thing that could be running in the back, and people don't realize why they're so tired right now. It's like,
Oh.
hold on a second. You have to realize what you're carrying that you're not witnessing consciously.
Yeah, well, right now I've noticed, and I've been saying to a lot, I kind of sound like a broken record on this, but I hope people will really pick it up. And it's beautiful what you said there. Because the planet is all going through this, we were saying before the show, like sometimes there's a tsunami over here, right, in one place, or there's maybe a hurricane over here. They're very isolated to those regions, even though we're all connected. But there's nobody on the planet escaping this. Like everybody is like, yes, we're connected, but everybody's in this story right now together. So there is an underlining tone of anxiety running throughout the world right now. And some people are saying, I feel this anxious, but I don't have anything in my life to make me feel anxious. I'm like, you're picking up the world stuff right now, because people forgot, as empaths, we have been called to step up and help clean this 25,000 years of garbage that's been going on for people that also can't maybe handle that. So what we've been called to do right now, all of us listening today, all of us that listen together and how we're all rising in our beautiful, beautiful heart space, we signed up for this and now we're stepping up. All of us, like, so the bodies can feel more anxious going, well, what is that energy? And that's why I like the reset tool, because I say it's easy. You don't have to worry about it. If you're saying, I don't really feel anxious about the future, I don't feel anxious about what's going on, that is coming from the external environment, and nobody can escape it. Like if someone tells you that they're just happy as pie every day going through this, I would run really far away, because it's forcing us to go up, because it's not true, right? We have these emotions that it's like a little bit of an emotional roller coaster right now. And when we have tools, we can get through them easily. They may last a day or a week rather than 6 months, but you're going to get hit with it at some point, because the amount of size of this cleaning that's going on right now.
Well, and again, a lot of the subconscious is being purged to go to a new level of vibration. It's happening globally. The consciousness of Gaia is rising.
Yeah.
Think of an individual human being that their consciousness is already beyond what everything else is going through. It's not that they can't be happy and that life can't be good, but there's still things in the subconscious that are coming to the conscious. And again, the memory from when you were 5 years old of the person that you haven't thought of, you couldn't remember their name, and all of a sudden they pop into your head.
Yeah.
There's something that's being transmuted. Energy never stops, Tracy, as you know. So if there's hatred or anger in the world, it doesn't stop, it doesn't go away. It gets transmuted into a different vibration.
Yeah. And right now that is, with that 25,000 years of things that need to be cleaned that didn't get cleaned along the way, it's coming out. And that's where Mother Earth is releasing it from the actual planet as well. And people forget that it's coming out, and our bodies are here, and it knows how to process it really easily. Our bodies can, once we start to learn to communicate and use our words properly. It was like the other day, someone, I was on in a conference call, and someone brought up the word pain. And I love their definition. I've heard it a long time ago, but I forgot about it. I'm like, I forgot about that. And I wrote it down. Pain means point awareness inward now. So when you have pain, right, go in and say, okay, what is it? And why is it there? And the body quite often right now will tell you, right, if you have to go into a store and you have a mask on, your body can feel anxious, or your body can feel not comfortable, or your body can, so because it's actually picking up a lot of other stuff that it's connected to. But your body's always telling you. And you know that you walk into a space and you were happy, and then you were like, what was that? Your body's connecting, it's telling you. And when we look at the other bodies and we start to connect on every level and layer, then the body responds, and then sickness, illness, disease, it finds its way out of your body beautifully and naturally. And sometimes people forget, like this gentleman I was telling you about, he was saying, I've been doing work for a long time, but he was only looking at the full mental and psychological space. So I'm like, but you've missed, you're an energetic body and you have all these blocks in you based on all this pain. And he's like, oh. So by releasing all of the bodies allowed him to now run 10Ks,
Yeah.
which is huge.
It's huge. And what's also happening is we're resetting our parasympathetic nervous system. We're tuning to our emotions where we're not stopping short. We're not in flight or we're learning not to be in the flight or fight response in the way that we have been for the last 25,000 years.
Yeah. The vagus nervous system as well, the intrinsic nervous system, the central nervous, like our nerve systems and our natural DNA and genetic coding is constantly changing. And like a lot of people, they're starting to have the awareness that just because your mother had something or your grandmother had something doesn't mean you have to have it, because it's just an imprint. It's just a belief system. And you know, I always like to say the BS is the belief system, but it can also be something else. Like, what are you feeding yourself? A bunch of BS, right? And you got to look, am I feeding myself a bunch of BS, or is this a belief system that's serving me? Is this a belief system that's uplifting me and motivating me? And and is that what's happening? You can look at it both ways, but when we start to look at that, and the other thing too is I like to remind people, play and have a lot of fun and look at things as they come up. Because you probably met when people first start, especially on the journey, you know, they're like, they look at everything as, is that a demon? Is that a spirit? Is that a bad energy? And it's like, just live and be joyous. And when they come up, that's your time to look at it. And obviously not denial. You don't want to put things in a box, because if that happens too long, then obviously you show up with different cancers and stuff like that. But yeah, our whole body is recalibrating. And that's why people are tired right now. And the way I like to put that is basically you upgrade. So, and then the energetic body's over here, the physical body's here, and the sleep just lets you catch up. That's it. And so people forget that. And then and a lot of that programming that I find actually gets stuck, and it causes a chemical frequency imbalance, because then people start shaming themselves too. And they start going, something's wrong with me. I'm so tired, or I'm lazy. And they start saying these things, or people around them say it, when it's no, because I can tell you some of my biggest upgrades, I think I slept for 3 months.
Yeah.
People would have thought I was depressed. I wasn't. I just needed that time because I was shifting so fast.
Yeah, and for me, it's I'm listening to my body. It's like, all right, my body wants me to rest. I'm listening. And even simple as that will really take you and accelerate that integration so beautifully, as compared to fighting it and resisting, shaming and blaming, and I'm doing it wrong. And we've done that for way too long.
Well, I always say we have, and it's really that point that's the stuff I always say to people. When's the last time you just said to your body, you and I get this, but when's the last time someone says to their body, buddy, what do you want to do today? This is your best friend. You pick the vessel. So it's like, what do you want to do today? And although you may not want to do that, that's okay. When we're done that, what do we want to do today? Do we want to go have a nice tea? Do we want to go for a walk? Talk to your body like it's also your best friend. And so often we talk to our body like it's not part of us. And then that creates a disconnection and a separation. Yet this instrument that we have is more powerful than anything out there, anything. Like our vessels, we haven't even tapped into, maybe we've only 2% of what we can do. And this programming that's leaving the planet right now, the reason there's so much chaos is because it's leaving so we can have more harmony, more ease. And I always say it's like we're going through a bad divorce right now. We're going through a bad divorce. So I went through a bad divorce. I think didn't you have a divorce?
I had a divorce. Yeah.
Okay, well, my divorce was not a great divorce. Okay, but mine wasn't as bad as a lot of my clients. So, I'm like, thank you, God. But it was really rough. But when you go through the divorce, what is there? There's fear. There's uncertainty. There's what, the anger, the frustration that's coming out, the imprints are leaving, it's dissolving out of your system. You're separating. And every time the days go more and more and more away from each other, right? You can spike because another part of that imprint of that partner is leaving. And then you get out 2 years and you go, why didn't I do that 5 years ago? Man, that's the best thing I ever did. And the further you're out, you start to forget about the days that, you wanted to stay in bed and cry and all of that. That's what's happening in the world right now. We're breaking up with these old paradigms that don't work. And your body might want to cry or feel anxious or sad because those old paradigms that weren't from the heart and love, that were run by greed and manipulation and control, we're breaking up with them. So everyone can have a better life. So we're right at the beginning of the divorce, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Well, I love that analogy. That's so good. Tracy, I want to get into some Q&A, and we've got a special. Sure. Everybody has to listen and I think participating, because this is so amazing. But I have to ask you the question about our bodies and our relationship to creating. Mm-hmm. And manifesting things in our world, and why sometimes it feels like we can't get things done, but a lot of times our body's not considered a part of that equation.
It's not considered, but it's one of the most important vessels and part that you have to consider to create and manifest, because most of the time we're taught, we're taught you gotta spend your space, however your quiet time is, or your meditation, whatever it is for you. No, do not judge that. I'm going to say that, please never judge how you meditate or spend time. If you need to meditate by going for a walk or chopping a bunch of onions, if that works for you, that is good, but we're taught to create by really having that visualization. And then we've been taught by feeling. But the reality is, if our body has those blocks, if our body has disconnection from the other 5 realms we were talking about, it will actually, it's literally like the frequency, it cuts off, because we need every part of our internal energetic system and our external. Your internal energetic system, it's your organs. They're always talking. Like, your liver doesn't just process your anger. Your liver processes anger and all the other emotions in your body. It's the number 1 filter. So if your liver is blocked and your liver is not processing properly, that hidden anger in a liver that's then passed down to your pancreas and your gallbladder can create manifestation, because now the joy is taken out of something in your life. So when you have things moving and then your pancreas is happy and the joy of life is in there, that creates another energetic line. So when you're visualizing, it becomes stronger. And that's what people forget. We need our connection to the divine. We need our connection of our thoughts and our dreaming. We can't stop dreaming. But you also need your internal system. That's why you were given it, to be functioning. So that vibration, and then you have a triad, and then you're off to the races. Right. You are flying. Yeah.
You're running on all cylinders is the way I like to.
All of them.
We get to take that Ferrari out of 2nd gear and into 3rd.
It's warp speed. And right now I'm seeing things manifest. Like, if someone's got to leave my life, they're gone. Like, not gone in 6 months, they're gone in a day. And you go through that little bit of a blip for a day or two, and it's over. It's done. You're there. And then all of a sudden, like, the doors are just flying open, and these beautiful new souls are coming through. And that's what I want people to understand, because when you actually connect to the body and understand, where's that sitting in my body? Where's that hurt in my body? Why is it there? And you can feel it. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm moving it out. And you move it out, and bang, the doors literally fly open. And you can be standing in a lineup and go, what? Who are you? Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's the beautiful energy we're in, because there's so much distraction energy right now. People are missing that we're actually in one of the highest vibrational energies of creation right now. And it's going to get better and better and better.
Identify some of those distraction energies and bring light to them.
Oh boy. Media? That's a big distraction energy. I don't watch a lot of it, because It has no relevance to me. Like I'll watch maybe once a week, 5 minutes, quick, what's going on in the world? Nothing's changed than last week. Okay, God, that's fine, whatever. So a quick, I would not get caught up in that. So that's a big distraction energy. Old patterns that you're afraid to let go of right now, so you can really get in your head and you can start telling yourself stories. Right now, a big distraction energy is a spirit of misinformation and misinterpreted information. So then people, if you have energy stuck in your body that doesn't want to move, you will start misinterpreting. You'll start getting more paranoid, thinking it's about you or misinformation. That is I call it an enemy spirit. You can call it a dark energy. You can call it whatever you want if you're trying to look at where it is, but it's working to distract you from really going to the light. And one of the things I say to people, if you really want to know how energies that don't serve you love to sneak in, one of the words right now being thrown around as distraction is diversified, which actually, when you use diversified inclusion, means divide inclusion. So when so really the distraction is we got to keep dividing. Drop that word to inclusion so we can love. So the words right now that are being thrown, my head is like ding ding ding. That it's vibe. I'm like, okay, spirit is like the words right now that are being pushed around are distraction, and so you can get pulled. Social media right now, you have to be so discerning of where you're going, because an energy right now wants to pull you off your path. Mm-hmm. And that sounds heavy and it may sound not as positive, but guys, it's because we're all being tested right now. We're being tested, all of us. None of us are escaping it. So we have to be so discerning what we're feeding ourselves, what we're listening to, what we're hearing right now. And one of the big things I say to people, if you want to know how distraction works, turn on the media, because what happens is the more people slam other people and attack other people, that's all distraction energy to keep you away from the light. And it's affecting the nervous system. People can't sleep. People can't connect. And that's the biggest thing right now. And if people can get really strong, connect to the body, stay focused with people and listening to shows like yours and being uplifted and stay around people that are supporting you and helping you rise, this distraction energy will go away. But it can also be your family members and friends that don't want you to rise right now. And that's where they'll say, you should really do this, or I think you should do this. And they'll push energy at you where you could feel, well, whoa, why did you say that? I was all excited over here. And that again is more heightened right now because we're being tested to listen to our intuition, to stand in our power and our beautiful joy of our boundaries of love and go for it. This is the time to go for your dreams. It's the time to go for your dreams, and don't get caught up in, oh, the sky's falling, because you know what? In the Depression, they told you the sky was falling, but they didn't tell you all these people that prospered over here in so many ways, because they don't want you to remember that. Yeah. But I want everyone to remember this is your greatest time to be who you know you're here to be, with no fear. And have people like you and I and all these beautiful souls around the world that are saying, we're going to lift you up. Let's go together. Let's go together. And let's not look over there. We're aware of it, but we're not going to play in that playground. It's not our playground anymore.
So wonderful. I love the energy and perspective in the way that you explain it, Tracy. Thank you for that. We're going to take live Q&A, guys. So type your question into the Q&A box. Raise your hand by clicking on the participants box.
Okay.
The little wavy hand there. You can wave your hand there and we'll choose you live. And Tracy, before we get into that, just so that we can get in a flow of Q&A also, and if anyone jump off early, you can't get a special offer with Tracy, because this work is so powerful, such great facilitation and awareness that I want to make sure you take advantage of it. So April has typed in the link in the chat box. If you scroll right above the video, there's a special offer button. Really easy to find. It says special offer. Made it a no-brainer. It'll take you to the special offer page, or you can type into your URL, beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Tracy22, and Tracy's TRACY and the number 22. And Tracy, $97 for this special offer. Again, that's typically our price point, but I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the quality of content that gets provided for that special offer price. So please take us through what you put together here for our very special audience today.
Yeah, and I had to, we added some extra things. So, you know, we have the karma clearing prayer. I added some prayers and activations and clearings. So the reason I do speak a little bit like I do, I've recently become a non-denominational reverend minister. And because I believe it's time to build a community of just, our motto is love. Just love people. That's all you have to do. Just love people. That's our thing. So you'll hear me. So what I noticed, and there's also, we added a Soul Sunday. Now, a Soul Sunday is a 90-minute of me speaking and clearing and moving and teaching. So for me, it's the activation with the words and then my hands. And we have, I believe in there's, I don't have it up on my screen now, but we have the heart. I think, you know what? I want to say something. There's the heart activation clearing in there, where I teach you how to command your heart. And I teach you how to speak to your heart properly. And I do the clearing with you. And do you know, last time I was on your show, we had a gentleman that reached out and said, I've been doing the heart activation and my heart is fluttering so crazy and I'm having all these releases. Is that normal? Like, he was worried. He's like, what's happening to me? What's going on? And we're like, your heart drive is resetting itself. So I'm speaking to you to how the heart drive resets, because when the heart drive resets, every other part of your body can start to talk and connect. There's the forgiveness one as well, the unleash the forgiveness. This one, people forget that when we come down, we make agreements. We make agreements. Who's going to be the jerk in your life and who's going to love you and who's going to lift you up. We have all these agreements. So I actually take you back up, which I call the heavenly realm. You can call it whatever, but just back up to the realm before we all came down. And I walk you through what it's like to go meet all those people. And then as you come down, you forget it, right? So when we walk through this life, we forget that, wait a minute, I made you make that promise with me. And I made you make a promise that you're going to treat me like complete crap until I learn my boundaries, which breaks a lot of cords. And I find a lot of people will say to me, when I do that over and over, I have no more emotion to those people. And I understand, which then cleans the heart. And I love that because, you know, I've had 3 near-death experiences. So going on the other side allowed me to understand that, wait a minute, we did make all these agreements, even when we get mad and stomp our feet and say, I wouldn't do that. Or why would that happen to me? So that unforgiveness, I love it because it allows your body to let go of things that you can't even imagine. It's just gone. So when I do encourage people, when you hear, it's not just, don't just do a clearing and a meditation. That's not what it is. You listen to the words I'm saying. And if you take those out in your daily life, you will feel that energy come through and you will start to add your own other words and watch how quickly things will start to shift.
Amazing. Yeah. So let me go through the items here, just in case.
I don't have it on my screen. Yeah. Because we did it just for you. So I'm like, okay.
We have the karma release and activation, which you described. You have the health prayer.
Yes.
The body restoration, regeneration, and repair.
Yes.
We've been talking about today. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, those are actually really about walking you through different parts of your system so you understand how they can release and how you can command things to move out of your body very quickly. And again, if you actually take even snippets of it while you're listening to it, please don't drive. Don't drive when you listen to any of this stuff. But, you know, if you're listening before bed or you're listening to it in the morning, I'd like you to actually sit and listen to it. I don't, you know, you can move around, but people tell me they get dizzy and I don't want you to get dizzy. So what it'll do is it'll walk through different organs. It starts to release imprints and implants in the organs, meaning imprints that came maybe from your mother, your father, that just got printed on like a duck. Implants are things that people really push into your system, or maybe they came from another sort of dimension or something. You're not sure they're there. So they'll start to activate them. But again, you can take pieces of it in your daily life, and then you'll know what part of your organ, oh, I should say this, or I could do this. So I give you, just listen to what I say and go out and duplicate it.
It's funny because what's coming for me as you speak about this, and I love if you can bring your awareness into this, your expertise into it, but I'm also getting about the importance of our emotions and the lymphatic system and draining.
Oh, the lymph system, the lymph ducts, the lymph channels, the lymph nodes. Oh my gosh, so important. No different than people right now have noticed. They're like, why am I gaining weight? Why am I bloating? What's going on with my metabolism? Because the world is having such a purge. We are holding more of that energy. So you can wake up and go, oh my gosh, I look like I'm 9 months pregnant. What just happened? The lymph systems are slowing down right now as well because there's so much processing that's being pushed through. And it's extremely important that every day you actually have to activate the lymph system. And you'll hear that where your lymph ducts, your lymph nodes, your lymph channels. So the flow of the energy, because your energy gets so stuck in lymphatic system. And that's usually anger and frustration. And
Well,
people get that.
we talk in this community so much about clearing the chakras and upgrading the chakras and all that, but the lymphatic system needs, it's like, we're not talking enough about that in our spiritual community.
Well, they're not. It's all about chakras and meridians. And yes, we have to clear chakras and meridians, but you got to clear your organs. You got to clear your heart when it has heart pain and heartache. Why do you think this guy had a heart attack? He had so many heartaches and heartbreaks, and I'm not good enough. And his father after him, like it just got in there. And your lymph system, if it is not moving, and people get, you know how you can get those balls under the lymphatic system, if it's not moving, they can get really hard under your neck, under your armpits and your groins. And this is stored anger and stored frustration. We're not clearing that. We're not clearing the pancreas that brings joy, joy. Or like people forget your respiratory is where you breathe in life on your organs. Your digestive system is processing your life. Your reproductive is your flow of life, your business, your power zone, your children. So if we're not cleaning these organs now, just think about what's getting stuck and why you can't create what you're looking for. That's what people forget. So I'm like, if you're having a problem with bringing in flow of life, you might want to look at what part of your organs are stuck. And I had a lady today, I'm like, oh, you have leaky gut. And I said, all these things that you can't process with authoritative figures and your mother. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she goes, I was on the toilet all night last night. I've been so sick and I have stomach pains and cramps. I'm like, yeah, because your body can't process any of this. You have all the burdens of your family and your center is stuck. And she goes, is that why I'm constantly have stomach pains? Thank you, God, we can remove that for anybody listening right now, because our processing centers, if they're not connected, if the left side of your brain is not talking to the right side of the body and the right side of the brain is not talking, but we're so busy just saying, and that's where I said, that's the spiritual component. Let's look at chakras and meridians. We do, but that's your external system. And you got to align the external and the internal, and people forget to talk about how powerful your body is, and your body hears everything. So if you want to wake up every day and say, I'm miserable today, your body goes, okay, we're miserable today, so let's not feel good. It's not about denial, but it's about getting very aware. And in the program we put together for you, I use my words because everything's channeled. I do not do retakes. And sometimes that bothers people because I channel it and that's it. I have to channel it. It's whatever God put through and I'm done. So some people say, well, Tracy, why wouldn't you edit that? And I said, because it's not the real message. And that's why with yours, so when we're going through, listen to the words channeled from the God of your understanding, and you will pick it up. But that body, we have to listen more than ever because the density that's being asked to roll through us more than ever. It's in its time. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm smiling. I'm like, God does not need editing.
No, I'm so glad you said that, because people say to me sometimes like, well, why did that tell me? I said, because it's a channel. It's a one take. I'm done. Like when I channel messages from my community, I channel them every day. I channel messages and they're like, and they'll go, oh, well, the sound. I said, doesn't matter. That's the message for the day. It's one take. I never edit because I can't. That's the message.
You start editing, you're an ego. Now, when you start creating and you're an ego and you become aware of it, it's like, I got to redo that because I was an ego. And when you do that, things don't typically flow anyway.
Yeah, they don't. But you notice in our society, what happens a lot, because everything has to be so perfect. And that's where people, I'm like, get out of your judgment. Just listen to what the message is, no matter who you're listening to. When people channel, it's just, that's what it is. There should be no editing. 100%. Yeah.
I agree. So amazing. I love this. Okay. That's item 4, guys. We haven't even gone. So,
okay.
Unleash the forgiveness within. So we went into that.
Went to that one. Yep.
Heart expansion, clearing and activation. You talked about that.
Yeah, that's for the guys like, why does my heart feel like I'm vibrating so bad? Yeah.
Limited to limitless. What is
Yeah.
that?
I actually walk you through an exercise where you can start to go through the limiting BS systems. I'm going to call it those, we can have fun. But so the systems you've been telling yourself that are limiting you and holding you back, and then I'll bring in some of the bodies. So I start to actually raise the vibration and using the words that I know channel through to speak in to raise up the vibration. So the roadblocks, and right now a lot of people think can feel that the doors are blocked, like they feel like they're hitting a wall. So it helps you to break through the wall, to open the roadways so you can actually keep moving through and you can have what you want. And it will repattern and help you to reprogram the thought process to the hard drive where you're like, I can do that. It's all right. So you start to realize that you're the creator, you're the choice maker, and that you don't have to be held back by the BS systems. That's my favorite one right now because I'm like, we got to have fun. Life's about fun.
Oh my goodness. So you have a Soul Sunday event replay.
Yes.
So what are you sharing Soul Sunday?
So Soul Sundays I do once a month right now because we have a lot of outreach programs to help children in need and families in need. And we've been changing it, obviously. We're going to be changing a lot over the next year. So I do 90 minutes once a month. So that's one of our replay where I do a teaching and I do a clearing, and we do them online and we do them in person. Now, of course, we're only doing them online because of COVID now. And I think in Canada in this September, we get to have like 75 people now in a room or whatever. So we'll probably slowly open them up. But we'll see, that could change. But it's a teaching, it's a clearing, and it's an activation. So listen carefully, but it's a live lecture. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have Repattern Your DNA, Restore Your Life, a group coaching call.
Yeah, so that was another 90-minute coaching call where I took questions from people and I was shifting and clearing, and for 90 minutes. So I say to people, listen to that. And even if you hear something that you say, I don't know if I have that, take it anyways. So when you hear things that people say, can I have this shifted or whatever, the best thing if you want that in your body is you're like, I'm going to take that energy. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, divine. I'm taking that energy. So most of the time we're programmed to say, oh, I might be envious or jealous, right? When you're little and you're going through that system, when we break out of that, and I love people to understand this, I said, don't be envious or jealous of somebody. If they have something you want, just say, thank you, God, I'm taking that energy. Whatever they use to create it, I'd like more of that too. So if you're listening to the coaching call, it's just clearing, shifting. So there's actually 3 hours of teaching, clearing, and lectures within those 2 videos.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And that's the package, y'all. It's full on $97, 2 payment option, 30-day money back guarantee. Tracy Clark, oh my God, feel the energy here and the wisdom and the love pouring through. And this is priceless. Y'all take advantage of it. And do so again. Click on the special offer button. Click on April is on it today. She put the link in the chat.
We're having so much fun in the energy. I keep forgetting you've got and I'm on Zoom all the time too. You know that we're both on Zoom all the time, and I forget. Oh yeah, there's a chat box over there. I'm like, I don't have to focus that. That's your job.
Things going on. You get to relax.
I'm like, thank you.
And the link one more time, you guys, is beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Tracy22. Take advantage of this special offer. And Tracy, are you ready for some Q&A?
Yeah, whatever they have or however you want to do it. Absolutely. I'll get my little pen. Sometimes I write away. I think my cat stole it. No, there. She comes up and steals things all the time. I write when I channel too. So we'll see. Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to promote some of y'all to attend, or panelists that have raised your hand, because I want to hear you and see you. Would love to see you on the call. So as I call on you, it's better if you probably unmute yourself, because sometimes I have permissions and sometimes I don't. And then turn on your video. And the first person I want to take is Malene. Malene, let me promote you to a panelist here. And as I've done that, you can please unmute yourself. You'll see the box at the bottom and turn on your video. That'd be great.
That's fun. I've never done that before. I've never done that before. How fun is that?
Malene, and let's unmute you.
Hi. I
Hi.
actually clicked by accident.
Oh, oh no, by accident. Oh, you're listening.
It's totally good. Okay, my question to you today is embodiment of female and masculine energy. So at times we have a lot of the masculine as females or at certain points. What's your take on that? I know you explained it a bit already, but in these times that we're going through right now, at times we embody more of the masculine. And how do we come back to the feminine with ease?
So funny. I had this conversation for an hour yesterday on a group. I'm going to give the same answer that I gave on this group. The more you actually shift and clean through the things that are ready to leave your body, the more you will naturally slide into your feminine or your masculine. But we always have male, female, right? So, but again, the male, if you're female looking for a male partner, if that's the reason, you always want to make sure that you have that balance. So a man always needs to be a little bit higher vibe and is obviously his masculine than the female. What's happening right now is there's a lot of energy and fight energy coming out on the planet. And we can start to move this for people listening. So there's a lot of, I need to defend, or I need to, protect myself, which will put you more into the masculine energy, especially for a woman, or I have to provide for myself. And these are older energies and they get stuck in the brain, but a lot of times they get stuck in the chest. And it's that, and then it'll go down to the root, so into the tailbone, and you get lower back problems, it'll go into the tailbone. And the more you actually start to release the blocks, the barriers, and the resistances out of the body, the more you naturally just fall more in love with yourself. And the more you fall in love with yourself, the more your masculine and feminine just sort of, they come in harmony. And then you will attract, if it's a partner, you will attract that male energy that is in such beautiful vibration with your female energy. And right now, people, I don't know what it is. People are reading all these books about you got to do this to be a man and this to be a woman. I'm like, love yourself as much as you can. And the more you love and you just show up and you start to realize, well, why am I being aggressive? Or why am I doing this behavior? It will just naturally go away. And your male and female will find it's nice. It'll find a balance. Can I shift that for you a little bit more?
Thank you. I
Okay. Does that
truly
feel better?
appreciate
Does that understand? Does that a little bit?
it. It does. I just have to say thank you. And to all the listeners, I have to say I'm a client, a member of Tracy's for quite a while. And
So I was surprised to see you pop. Like, hey.
I know, right? I was like, it's Thursday night. What are you going to do on a Thursday night? Listen to some good Tracy, some good clearings. Everything is worth it. It's truly life-changing when you do step into this energy and you do the work. It's truly magnificent. And I have to say thank you, Tracy. You've been a blessing in my life.
Thank you.
It's very generous of you, Melissa.
And I'm just cleaning a little bit. I gag. A burp.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Actually, what was just pulling off there, and there's a lot of people listening, that this goes to everybody, but what was pulling off there was where you had an obligation to be in your masculine. So where you felt you were obligated to be in the masculine to carry your family's generation, like to help them. So that's what popped up. So that does that feel lighter in the body?
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. When I gag and burp on screen, people must go, what is going on with that woman? Trust me, I say the more I gag and burp, the better you clear.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh,
Tracy, we stopped your video. Will you start it on your side?
Start my video. I'm going. Yeah. Okay. You got that there?
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
Fantastic.
So
right,
I just want to say, John, everybody that is listening there, that's what happened. Like when I go really like that, it's pulling off anything known or unknown. So if people are listening while I'm clearing with something they want cleared, even if they don't come on, it's like a catch. It'll grab it. So just so they're aware. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, here's a question that comes in from Justina, and I'm having not similar issues, but related issues. So this is great, Justina. So she writes, hi, Tracy. It's always a joy to see you. Like you're showing up. I've been getting stomach aches with most everything I eat. What's going on? So I can relate to, and with me, it's like I'll eat a little bit and I feel like I'm just bloated or completely full. So there's a lot of intestinal stuff going on.
A lot of intestinal. So that's what I was saying. We'll start to clear this for you guys. We actually have to reconnect. Okay, let's look here, and then I'll answer the question. So I'm going to reconnect. Thank you, God. The small and large intestine. We are going to, I don't have to go in order, so just hang on a second. I'm going to see what comes up here for her. We'll do the liver, gallbladder, pancreas. We'll also do the stomach, the internal lining, and the external. Okay, and then we'll do colon, rectum, anus. So what I'll actually do is strengthen your system. Thank you, God, to be really strong to processing 80% of the energy in her system is coming from external. So it's having a hard time processing. It's interesting for you, John, you're external. So I'm going to do both here. Actually looks easier than your internal. So the deeper stuff that's moving internally for you, that's processing through, and it just looks old. It looks old, but anywhere on the external that you see it coming up, it triggers the internal, but you did much. You're in external is easy for you. You're like, hey, but for Justina, yeah. So let's start to remove the internal and the external. We'll strengthen. And one of this thing is, so for food, what's happening with the bodies right now because of the density as well, and I'll adjust this for everyone. Thank you, God. We'll adjust it, is the bodies are also finding, how do I say it? It's purging out foods that no longer serve us as well. It doesn't mean it can't later, but we do have to be mindful. I will say this is probably the biggest time I've ever really wanted to fast a lot and not eat much at all. And I've noticed my body's felt lighter for me. And I'm noticing the heavier foods, even if we're eating good foods, because a lot of us eat really good foods, they're just not vibrating. So the lighter we can keep the diet. But what's really happening is it's an accumulation, it looks like, of old, especially for Justina, old initial trauma. And it has to do with actually being pushed at you. So where people would speak at you or speak ill will or put you down, make you feel like you're not good enough. And it's going through your entire timeline. So what I can do is actually, I can start to remove that. Thank you, God. And the body is having a really hard time processing that. And I'll override, speak in the ease and the strength of the stomach to process what's happening internally and externally. That's the big key right there for everybody listening, internally and externally. It's like your electrical grids on your heart. They're internal and external. So you always got to remember the internal and the external. So these sensitivities, because we are, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to raise the vibration a bit, and the sensitivities to what we're being called to right now to clean on the planet, the stomach is stuck. So also we have to command all the processing centers to speed up times 10, meaning that it looks like an old clock that isn't moving fast enough. So we can change that a lot quicker, which means that timing, we're going to wipe out anything connected to timing. I'll command in restoration, regeneration, and repair. Thank you, God. And I'll put a salve between all of your intestines so you guys can just kind of see that salve go through, which will get rid of the blocks of resistance and the hesitations. That should start to feel better. She can let us know how she's feeling there.
Yeah. And I started getting the belching coming up also. I remember in our session together, it's just like,
yeah, you're so reactive. It's great. Yeah, it's awesome. Yours actually too, you can see, John, how would I say, like, if you look on the corner, like this big on where your liver is on the right side, there just seemed to be some old information of imprinting that was just, we don't have to look at it. It's just ready to go. So that should feel a lot better. Yeah. You know where to find me if you need another boost anyways.
And well, it's funny, I've also been doing a lot of liver cleansing and supplementation for that, and gallbladder and kidney stuff, because it's coming up. It's just
it is. Yeah, it's sitting right there. And the liver right now, I can actually start to command people's liver, the emotional levels, physical, spiritual, we'll do psychological, psychic, we'll do all of them and all the various combinations internally and externally to raise the frequency of the liver. So actually everybody on this call, the collective vibration of the liver is only sitting at 30%.
Wow.
Yeah. we needed to go higher because of the amount. And that's another thing people forget to keep raising. So keep commanding the vibration frequency of your liver to go higher. And even if you can't tune into what the percentage is, command it to go higher and higher and higher. And as you're doing cleanses, and this is a great time, right, guys, if you have cleansing, but don't also be hard on yourself if you are bloating. The other thing I'll tell you with bloating that's happening right now is people's external anger is getting stuck in an empath's body as we're processing it through because it's so heavy. So you can just walk by someone in a grocery store. So don't be hard on yourself if you're bloating. It's okay.
How much time would you say that we should devote to having consciousness with the different aspects of our body, with the different functions? Again, we can sit in meditation and connect to spirit or try to clear our minds, but enough of us are not sitting intentionally in relationship with our bodies.
That's where I say start with, like, body, how do you feel today? You're driving in your car. How do you feel today? Like if you did your meditation in the morning, your gratitudes in the morning, you might say, body, how are you feeling today? And I always, every night, I take a salt bath. And I take a salt bath for at least 20 minutes. I need the ocean. I'm not as blessed as you yet, one day maybe. So I need the ocean. I do though. We need to recreate the salt. We really do. People that'll save your butts right now, do salt scrubs, sit in salt tubs if you can't get to the ocean. I sit for 20 minutes and I scan my body. I'm like, body, how do you feel? Body, what needs to be released? Body, is there anything stuck? I ask questions like this and it starts to shift. So you can do it in the car. When you hear the words I'm saying on those audios, you can do it while you're driving. I feel like I have a little bit of pain in the back. Body, what are you telling me? You can have a conversation like that while you're driving, while you're walking down the street. Get your earbuds out of your ear and have a conversation while you go for a run. It's functional energy work. This isn't what I teach you. You don't have to sit there all day long. Yes, the clearings and the meditations are going to get you going, but pick up the words and start using them. You have to, right now, I say every day you got to put at least minimum 10 minutes towards your body, minimum.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's an investment that'll have dividends more than anything else.
Yeah, because you're not going to wake up 60 and realize you have a heart problem or you have a brain problem or you have a tumor or whatever. You're just not.
Well, Tracy, it's an intimacy that goes across the board. If you're able to have intimacy with yourself, your capacity to be intimate with others and have your life be vital in that way becomes exponential.
It does. And your life force energy when you get up is stronger. You can command. I say, thank you, God. Command the impartation and speak in all the life force energy and more that my body can handle today. Thank you, God. I'll put that for everybody listening right now. And all of a sudden, that's better than any cup of coffee you're going to throw in your body. I'm not saying you can't have a nice cup if you want to, but it gives you start commanding that life force energy through your body, top of your head to the soles of your feet, top of the head to the soles of the feet. A simple old saying that's been around for 1,000,000 years and people forget to say it. Mm-hmm. But it will revitalize. You can take your eyes and you can actually push your fingers on your eyes until you see the little lights. And then you count to 10, you release them. Don't open your eyes right away. You'll get really dizzy and fall over. What that does is resets your physical computer. And then you can actually command your eyes to rebalance and harmonize. I have people that tell me they don't need their glasses prescriptions are too strong. And they're like, the eye doctors are like, that's not possible. You can't reverse your eyes. And they're like, yeah, see you later. Because that's what I say. Go and figure it out and then see you later. So you can command them, like talk to your body like that. But that's a great one. You have on the side, this one, if people are listening, you want a clearing on the side. So I say to women where your bra would go, there's pressure points that really hurt. Rub them for 5 minutes, not while you're driving. You might pass out, but you'll reboot your physical computer.
Oh, wow.
It's like your off button on your computer.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. So fun. All right, let's continue here. April, is this my April? This April has her hand up. Let's see. It may or may not be. So April, you may be just lucky by default by having the same name. So April, if you would unmute yourself and start your video, that'd be wonderful. We'll take your question.
2 Aprils.
We have 2 Aprils. So April 2.
2 Tracy's, 2 April. It's the power of 2 today.
I apologize. Why my phone set up anyway?
I'm trying to start.
Oh, there you are.
Hi. Wasn't prepared for a video, but
Hey,
yeah, but I always have a really hard time like genuinely expressing compassion and love, even to the people really close to me, even to my kids. Like I have a really hard time being genuine, and I've always just tried to struggle with where that comes from or what's keeping me stuck and how I can overcome that.
yeah, it's a good one. Okay. So I'm going to open up. You can tap your throat here. I'm going to open it up a little bit if you don't mind, because there's some energy block there. But it actually looks like you have a barrier. Hang on a sec. Let's make sure. We've got past life interference energy. Not past life, it's different. So we can bring in energy that can function in our lifetime that can create the blocks and the resistance. But you have some past life interference energy that's crossing over with this lifetime that if you actually get vulnerable and have compassion, there's going to be hurt and loss. How does that feel when I say that?
It feels like it aligns with kind of how I feel, and a lot of times I'll feel like energy stuck in my throat, and I never know where to go with it.
It's hard. It's like if I speak something, if I feel something, and it's like you also have an agreement and a contract, a vow of all that I'm going to remove, but you have this agreement that it's like I have to take, this is also past life energy too, and this lifetime. So they are crossing over. You've learned it in this lifetime, but you've got both. So we have different energy lines. So you can have past life lines, you can have ancestral, you can have ancient rituals, religion. There's all these different timelines, but it's also like you've taken on this vow that you have to be also the strongest one. That also comes from a male lifetime. So if you are vulnerable and you're not strong, then people are going to get hurt. Then there's going to be problems. So when we become vulnerable, your body is taking it as a weakness. Your throat of speaking, your heart is looking at vulnerability as a weakness, not a strength. How does that feel when I say that? I'm going to start to remove that for you if you're okay with that.
Yeah, it resonates.
Yeah, so I'll remove in this lifetime in the accumulation of the past life energy that's showing up now. And we're going to remove that accumulation. Thank you, God. I'll pull it out of the throat. Now, sometimes when we do this, you can start to feel more emotional. Like you might even have a day where you're like, oh my God, why am I crying? It's not hormones. It's just the body letting go. So hang on a second. You're very good though at showing up for everyone in your life. You're present, you're there. Like you are there. But if you put this guard down, you're worried you're going to like melt. Like they show like, you know, the Wizard of Oz, when that witch melted, like she went, oh, I melted. It's like you're worried you're just going to melt. And then what happens? Who keeps everything going? It's actually going to be okay. So let's remove this for you. Thank you, God. Yeah. And then we'll override and speak in the safety to be vulnerable. And I'll command that into the body, the soul, the spirit. Thank you, God. And we'll also command the safety to speak. You have, you actually have it's interesting. How do you feel right now when you have to wear a mask? Does it?
It doesn't necessarily bother me, but.
You're okay. Because you've got this weird, another lifetime that's why I just said sometimes it can trigger people if you can tap into it, but you have a lifetime and it's literally where you had to be so careful what you spoke and how you spoke as well. It looks like you have that in this lifetime. Do you quite often do that? Do you sort of look at people before you'll say something, like to gauge the situation?
Yes, yeah. I'm always very careful what I say.
Yeah. So let's start to remove some of that. And I keep hearing to like, cause I hear or so you feel, but I keep hearing to go slow. So we're going to go slow. So actually what I'm going to do, thank you, God, is run a program. It's going to go for 30 days. So if it actually all ripped off right away, you would be like, you'd be emailing the office going, I'm a puddle on the floor, help me. So let's start. I'm just going to, it's like a nodule. So just bear with me 1 second. I want to just make sure to command that out of the rest of the throat. John, you can feel that too. So sorry. Okay. I'm going to let that go. Okay. I'm just going to gag the rest of that one out because it's pretty deep. The roots and the seeds. So basically the reason I say the roots and the seeds is the energy starts to grow just like a plant or a tree, right? And the roots anchor into the central nervous system and then feed the brain. So that's why you hear me say to remove the roots and the seeds. So Hang on. I've just got to put a little bit more safety. Your body's kind of going, I don't know. It's okay. Just breathe. You're all right. You're doing good.
Hey, you go into the root smile. Just crack a little smile on your face to let your brain know that everything's okay. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay. I'm just going to quickly clean your meridians from top of the head to the soles of the feet. How does that feel now? When you
It feels almost tingly and light. It's nice.
Yeah, you should really. My body's like on fire. You were ready to let that go. I'm really proud of you. Thank you for having her smile. I'm going to remember that. I'm like, come on. I'm really proud of you. That is a hard one, but you did it. You did it.
Yeah, it's such a different, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a different energy to it.
I'm getting sweaty over here.
I know, we're burning up. Thank you, God. I am so proud of you, April. This is huge. Like, I get chills. I don't know if you realize how big that step was for you. And so one of the things you can say to yourself too, you can do the reset, let go if you need to. It's going to run for 30 days, but don't be afraid to just use that little, it's safe to be vulnerable. It's safe to speak. I'm okay. Because the people around you love you very much. You're a really good mother. You're very good. You really are. And they're going to love this new little, I see you playing a lot more. So they're going to love that. Like, you play, but I mean, like, they're going to feel you playing. So.
Yeah, there's a difference between thinking about, oh, this is what I should be doing versus and having fun. It's your instinct.
Just sit on the grass with them and just hang. That's all kids love, is to know you're just there. Like, sometimes we think as parents we have to engage, and then we put the pressure, and then we're like, oh, I have all this responsibility. No, your responsibility is just to play with them. Just sit there. Just be there. You know.
Yeah.
Your head. Yeah. Sing a stupid song with them. Like, just have fun and joke. Look at your face. Look at her face, John. It's like totally and the sun came right in on you. It's just like, well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So proud of you. You're welcome, sweetheart.
All right.
Glowing.
We're going to go to our next caller here. And before we do that, I want to remind everybody of this. Yeah, I know, me too.
I'm like, Spirit came in. You and I are like on fire. We're like, I feel like I'm having a hot flash, but I'm not. Okay.
Sandra wrote, I'm sweating now. I know, Sandra, me too. Y'all,
Yes.
Tracy's special offer. Don't forget, again, it's in the chat box. April, I'm sure, will type it again. And access it by clicking on the special offer button as well, just above this video where you're watching this call from. The replay will run a little bit later as well. And so on the replay, you can watch it or you can listen. So it's wonderful. You can take it with you and go through these same energies, go through and get into the conversation, and the awareness is so important. The special offer, $97, 2-payment option, going deep with Tracy. Again, highly recommended. Jump on that. Let's go to another live caller here.
There's more moving. Whew.
I feel it too. It's a lot.
It's like Spirit is just cleaning anybody that's listening right now. So if you're all hot like John and I, and you're all like, what's happening? I'm like, Spirit's in the house. I love when that happens. Whew.
And all right, Katrina and Kristen, or just Katrina, or maybe just Kristen, I've promoted you to panelists now. Unmute yourself and turn on your video, please. It'd be wonderful.
Two.
Hey. How's it going?
Yay! 2 of you in there. I love it.
So I have 2 questions. One is sort of about this whole situation going on. I literally oscillate between having full faith that all things are moving towards something amazing and it's all just a great shift and it's awesome, to wanting to like kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like literally, like the logic, the lack of the insanity, the everything. And I can,
yeah.
Is there anything reasonable we can do with that oscillation between, I really love believing that there's a greater purpose in everything. And on the other hand, the idea of pretending I buy a single bit of it, I just want to die.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean that. You know
Well,
what I'm
we'll wipe that out. We'll get rid of that. You're not going anywhere for a long
saying?
time.
Forget
No, planet needs you. It's actually interesting. It's very normal reaction, and it's very normal reaction for empaths right now, like super normal, because you are looking, so you're looking from this, I don't like to say more elevated lens, but we all are as empaths from a more elevated lens. And you're also seeing, I call it, a friend of mine termed it very well, and I'm going to take it as the spirit of stupidity. And we got to have some fun with this, guys. Like, we can't all be serious, but you are seeing that. But the way I look at it, is it going to be beautiful on the earth every day for the next year? No, this next year is what we got to walk through. This next year is where we're going to hit the rock bottom to come back up. But we need to do that. So there's a few things I've done that really helped. And if I can shift some of this for you and everybody listening who can help, is I don't spend a lot of time around a lot of people right now. Now, I know we have social distance, but what I mean is I'm not sitting on a patio having lunch. I'm not sitting, going into big grocery stores. I order from the farm and I run in to pick up what I need. If I have to do a Costco thing, because right now we need, a bunch of water for what other things we're doing, well, okay, I'll run in there to just grab whatever and get out quickly. If there's lineups, you won't see me stand in a lineup. I run in, I run out. But so you have to also make very clear, discerning decisions where you're going, why you're going. And I said to somebody today, you'd be very wise to stay listening to things that inspire you and uplift you, and staying close in a bubble, staying in nature, a lot of nature right now. And they're like, why? I said, because if you're out there, if you're listening to the news or you're walking, like you're driving and you see crazy, like I have to say, I'm seeing people here. I don't know if it's like for you, John, down there, but they're running with full masks on. And I'm like, you're going to fall over, buddy. Or they're driving their cars by themselves with full masks. So I went, you know what? I can't judge them, because if I start judging them, then I've got gold dust everywhere. Then there's a problem. So what I do is I'm like, okay, thank you, God. Just give them what they require. Give them what they require. But I'm not in denial. This next year is going to be very challenging for the planet, because it has to be, as it cleanses and it cleans. So what I do is I strengthen my system. I actually clean and cut wherever I'm going. I say, thank you, God, to clear the road, to smooth it out, to release anything of interference. I go get what I need. I make sure I'm constantly listening to things that make me feel good, because I say I have choice how I react. Am I going to react which way? So I'm very aware right now more than ever. What I ask myself every day, what am I choosing right now? What am I choosing when I go out? Because it's easy to go out on the road and all of a sudden, and you see it, honking the horns and screaming at each other. So I'm choosing. So I would say, as well as empaths right now, thank you, God, we can shift this. That's the biggest question. What am I choosing? Literally every second. And am I choosing to let that person really affect that space? And it's going to affect you. Like I said, if anyone's going to tell you they're going to ride through this with ease and grace, run away, because we are going to go up and down, because there's things within us that are coming out. There's a subconscious coming out. There's a planet cleansing. We got a lot. It's like a blender. So when you have those days, also, if it's feeling more heavy, like John and I were just saying, what I do is I go and I have that nap if I can, or I say, I'm going to go work outside today. Or, when I'm with clients on the phone, outside, not inside. And I just make subtle changes, which made it a lot easier. And if you feel like you got to hit the bed and scream, hit the bed and scream. Let the energy out of the body. Does that feel better?
Casey, we laugh at that. We laugh at the part that says hit the bed and scream. And it's funny that we go to that as adults. But the truth is that, again, we are assimilating, we are attuning to those energies and emotions that have been repressed, that we were taught to stop short when we were kids. When we throw a tantrum, it's like, stop the second, throw a tantrum, because it's inconvenience.
Yeah, and it's not.
Being angry, it's like, no, you need to attune to that. And it's not inconvenient, it's necessary.
Hey, I'll say this, and I'll say I'm a human being. I had something last week that came out of left field. I had my day. I was angry. We're demoing a house. What did I do? I took the sledgehammer, because I had to get the walls down anyways, and I slammed all of those walls down. I'm like, oh, but I didn't take it out on anybody. I had to get the wall down anyways. So I was allowing it. And as I was allowing it to go through and releasing out of the body, listening to the body, and I'll tell you, after that hour, I felt so free. And you're right, John. We have not been given ourselves permission to let go. Because as kids, it is quit doing that. Don't do that here. That's not appropriate. But right now, we're seeing tantrums all over the place. But as aware people, we need to get it out of the body or you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scream, yell. I've had a client, and I'll tell you, he had a really bunged up limb system, a lot of anger and rage. I made him go to the store and buy one of those little plastic kid bats. You know, those little ones where they go play little plastic. I said, I want you to hit the crap out of your bed with that because you're not going to hurt anybody. He felt so good. And guess what? We were able to lift the rest of the blocks and his limb system started to move.
Yeah. So important.
I have
Spirituality isn't just being happy all day long. No way. No.
I don't know if this is related, but the other thing on a personal level is I am yawning all day. Like just this, and I'm not tired. And it's not like I yawn all day. Is that just what's happening in the world or?
Yeah, you're releasing. So yawning, burping, farting, gagging are a lot more prevalent right now for a lot of people. You will yawn all day long. Yeah, the bodies are naturally. So the triggers in the bodies too, the valves. So all of our organs have valves. People forget that. And a lot of the valves for a lot of empaths, they're actually staying open longer than they normally would. So they do open and close energetically. So the valves are opening, allowing the release naturally. So you don't have to think about it all the time and just yawn away. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good. Like enjoy it. Just keep yawning. Yawning has nothing to do with being tired.
No, because I'm not tired at all. It's just constant yawning. It's just weird.
So that looks like it's adjusted. So we'll just quickly change the chemical electrical frequency pattern for everyone. So I'll thank the power of the hand of God of actually speaking in and upgrading the chemical electrical frequency pattern. To shift that quicker, you just tap the top of your head as we command it through. And then actually it'll just start to reset. Yeah, that's right, Kristen, like that. It just resets. There, she's got it. And then you reset, let go. So what we do is actually, we command the new chemical electrical frequency pattern to speak from the top of the head to the soles of the feet, which will allow the emotions to be a little bit more even. Yeah. And then reset, let go. Yeah.
Thanks, Tracy. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thank y'all.
Love. So many beautiful faces.
Amazing. What a great community. Tracy, amazing. Y'all, again, the special offer, Tracy, click on the special offer button. The link's in the chat box. April, you're a panelist again, so you can type it back in. $97, 2 payment options. Such valuable information and tools that are available there. And again, we'll run the replay for the rest of the week through the weekend. So come back and listen again and follow everything, Tracy. And Tracy, is there any last bit of information that you want to leave us with today of what's coming up?
Yeah, just people, everybody listening. First, I want to just thank the hand of God of just blessing you, imparting some more joy, some more ease, some more grace as we go through this, and to just speak in the real new space of who you are and who you're transitioning to, and to really be strong on every level and layer to embrace the change. But like what we were just saying, during this next year, because it's going to be a roller coaster into next year, there's a lot of joy that can come, and to be very discerning. And if you're feeling bad, like we said, give yourself permission to have an outlet. Give yourself permission. And when you give yourself permission to just be, and if you need to unplug, cancel what you have and stop feeling guilty. Guilt is the gift that keeps on giving, and you can choose to give it back. So no more guilt. Say, and just if you can, make yourself the highest priority. So every day, just say to yourself, body, thank you, God. Thank you, universe, divine. What do I require today? But really listen. Don't just let your brain go. Listen truthfully. What do I require today?
Yeah. That's beautiful. And exercise for that listening, and you brought it, you brought up the memory for me also, is even counting. Because a lot of times we're so quick to listen and get distracted so quickly. But even acclimating to the listening and say, count backwards from 10 in the listening, allowing ourselves to slow down and physically practicing it, not just with the breath, but counting with the brain and integrating it with the body, that'll put you in a whole different level of receptivity and awareness.
It will. It will. And do the reset tool, because it also pulls you out of the brain and back into the heart. So the counting, the reset tools, you could do these on the fly.
Yeah.
You can do them. Yeah. Yeah.
This is so much fun with you. Every time we've been on together, it's been so amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. We always have a great time, and for everyone who listens, yeah, we've known each other for many, many lifetimes, so we always have a good time.
We get to party this lifetime. Amazing.
Exactly.
Y'all, thank you so much. It's a blessing to be able to have this platform and to share with you. Namaste to everybody.
Thank you.